This episode of Celtics Roundtable is powered by CLNS Media. CLNS Media, the leading online provider of audio-video coverage. The Boston Celtics coming to you on a Thursday morning. The morning of Game 3 between the Celtics and Washington Wizards. Game 3 in Washington tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPN, as the Celtics lead 2-0, trying to take a commanding lead over the Wiz and have a 7-game winning streak in the playoffs to help break things down. I'm Evan Valenti alongside Matthew Ignal and Zaire. Guys, it's been a terrific series for Boston so far, although we can make the argument, right, that Boston has been fortunate to win both Games 1 and Game 2 on their home floors. Zaire, first question is, can Washington find a way? Do they have the personnel to slow down Isaiah? Isaiah has 86 points in 2 games so far. Does Washington have any chance of slowing him down?
Probably not. Anything can happen with a shooter during a game. You can sit there and go, okay, maybe he has an off night, which can happen. But overall, I think that even if he does have an off game, he just figures out other ways to score. And like I said in a previous show, he's very unpredictable offensively. You don't know which way he's going. You don't know if he's going to drive, shoot, pull up for a J, pull up for 3, pass. Like, he's just unpredictable. So you don't stop Isaiah Thomas right now.
Isaiah's just too good. He's too good off the ball. He's too good on the ball. Brad Stevens and him have just found like a perfect synergy to just maximize Isaiah's skill set.
But the most important thing for Washington is to get great performances from that second unit. And that's asking a lot right now.
Yeah, but that second unit is garbage. It's the reason why Boston's come back in both games. You have to have one of Wall or Beal out there at all times. You probably have to have some form of Porter out there for most of the time. Oubre is a good player, but he's not ready for this kind of responsibility.
By the way, Oubre's a minus 46 for the series so far.
That's awful.
And Bogdanovich a minus 25.
I don't think the series is over because, again, I don't think we've seen the best of Beal and Wall at the same time. And that's the one thing that really concerns me as a Celtics fan. But it might just be one of these things where Boston is a bad matchup for Washington, and Washington can't counter all the moves that Boston has. Like, it might come down to coaching, and when it comes down to coaching, like, I trust Brad Stevens way more than I trust Scotty Brooks.
Yeah, but the Celtics can't guard the Wizards either. Like, the Wizards have put up a ton of points. The Wizards have generated a ton of open shots. They've generated layups wide open. They've generated open threes. We look at the scores in these series. Like, the Wizards' counter is just going to be to outscore the Celtics. I think you're right that they don't have the personnel to stop the Celtics. I mean, they were 20th in defense, worse than that after the All-Star break. They're not equipped to defend. The Wizards are a team that's equipped to score. And while that's made for a great series, it's also something that I still feel like the Celtics' prime directive going into Game 3 is going to be trying to figure out a way to slow down this Wizards team.
The Wizards, first of all, they're bad. They have matchup problems against any team that has 8 players. Period. Any team that has 8 players, any team that has 8 players has the ability to give the Wizards problems. I mean, look at the Hawks. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Hawks they're not a juggernaut at all, but they gave the Wizards problems because they can outlast them at times. And yes, John Wall is so talented that I knew this. I'm sitting here watching the playoffs, and I'm like, okay, this is perfect because John Wall is going to will the Wizards to that first round win. But by the time he gets to Boston, if they mess around and get to a Game 6, he's going to be out of gas. And he was out of gas last night.
Sure. In
Game 2. So, yeah, they got time to rest. Game 3, he may show up. They may have this big performance and whatever, but I'm just not worried.
But, Zaire, you look at this, like, the Celtics scored 252 points in Boston over the last 2 games. You want to take out overtime, that's fine, and subtract 15 from that. I don't think the Celtics are going to score 240 or something like that in Washington. I'd be really surprised if they did that. They can't allow Washington to put up 111 in one game and then 114 in regulation in the next. It's just going to be too much. I guess this relates to sort of the starting lineup where the Wizards have just completely torched the Celtics. The Wizards are still both starting units up against one another. The Wizards are still like a plus 16. Something's got to change there. Brad Stevens put in Amir Johnson in for Gerald Green. Didn't really work out, at least in Game 2. We've called on this podcast. Some people have called for Smart. I'm probably leaning towards starting Jaylen Brown in Game 3.
Yep, I'm with you. different lineups are going to have different results. And in the Chicago series, Boston found a lot of magic by going smaller with Gerald Green. Hasn't worked out so much because if Gerald's shot's not falling on one end because Markieff Morris is making it very difficult for him to shoot, on the other end, Markieff can punish him in the defensive side. And Markieff's a much better guy on the block than anybody else that Chicago had at that point.
Right. So can you actually put in Jalen in that sort of situation? I almost like Jalen better as like a perimeter defender. Like he was awesome on Bradley Beal. I think only by the way Avery Bradley and Jaylen Brown should get minutes guarding Bradley Beal, but like you put him in the post, I just wonder about like his physicality.
Well, so then you switch it around. So you put Jalen on Brad. I mean, in covering Brad Beal is a very tough assignment, and ask a rookie to do that's very tough. But if you
then put Jay on, and then Jay on,
put Jay on Morris, and you have Isaiah cover Porter, you have Bradley guard Wall, and you just say, look, this is going to be our lineup defensively. Again, Jalen's role is going to be very simple. It's going to be go out there, defend, rebound, and shoot when you're open. That's really it.
It's not going to be tough, anything. Though. You make it sound so easy.
Well, no, but it's not like okay, you have a lot of responsibilities on the offensive end. No, you have one responsibility at a time. Defend, rebound, finish possessions, and then if there's any offense there, it's kind of gravy, to be honest with you. But the way I think that's probably the way they go with it to start Game 3 because they're already up 2-0. If it were flipped, I think Brad would have no problem going right to Marcus Smart right away and saying, look, we're not fooling around here. This is not the time to fool around. We need results, and we need them immediately. I think if you were to insert Marcus, the probability of it being successful is a little bit higher. But I think Jalen has given them solid minutes on the defensive end of the floor. When he's locked in defensively, he's a scary proposition. And this is a better series for him to be locked in because they have so many guys at the perimeter that can beat you. And Jalen's a really good perimeter defender as of right now because he's so long and he's quick, because he's agile, because he's fast. And that is the same way that Washington wants to play. His skills defensively are sort of tailor-made for this series. So I would start Jalen because of the defensive thing, A. And B, offensively, he is such an afterthought in that lineup between Al Horford, Avery Bradley, Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, that a lot of his looks are going to be good ones.
I just think that it's about making sure you have what it takes at the end of these basketball games to continue to finish them out strong. And if we get down by 14-15, it's okay. We've been down by 14-15 before. It's okay. Just continue to fight, continue to execute, and wait for them to trip like they always do. Like, why change what's already been working? It's what they do.
Because you can always be better, Zaire. That's the thing.
Yeah. No, they gotta slow him down. But I have two things. One, I think they're gonna switch more and more pick and roll. John Wall is just too fast if you're not switching it. Like, I don't know. I think that's part of the reason why the Celtics should go small at the start so that they just get a little bit more switchability. I'd like to see them switch it a little bit more at the start. I mean, you get in Wall cooking. Like, he was just killing them on the pick and roll. He was killing them in ISO too. I mean, when he's hitting those threes, he's basically impossible to stop. But
he's going to do that. He's going to do that. He's going to kill you that way. But wait, how do you win these games? You don't get out rebounded by a lot, right? And that's one thing that they've been better at. And you don't turn the ball over. And when they turn the ball over, that's when Washington goes up by like 14, 15 points. But when they start taking care of the basketball, everything's cool. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the little things you got to fix are just basketball plays. In my opinion, it's basketball plays. And it's just, once again, we have more than you have. So when your tongue's hanging out of your mouth, we're going to kill you. And that's it. Like, it's that simple. Like, it's not rocket science. It's an easy series to win. You just got to survive John Wall's onslaught. And once he's done, whatever, you're good. It's that simple.
I think it's slightly more complicated than that, but it's, I'll roll with that for now.
I mean, we saw the Celtics switch that pick and roll a lot more, like particularly in the second half, and I think that worked. I think it's just kind of harder to attack. John Wall's seen standard pick and roll coverage a million times. It's a lot harder to attack in isolation, even for a guy as athletic as him. And then the other thing is, I just think the Celtics are just going to continue to go smaller and smaller. They were really small in Game 2. I think they're going to be even smaller in Game 3. Would not be shocked to see that 4-guard lineup, even when it's not desperation time. I think there's enough athleticism out there to defend and enough shooting out there to keep the offense humming. Those are my two predictions. A lot more switching and much, much smaller lineups.
I agree. Today's roundtable is being brought to you by the SeatGeek ticketing app. Celtics may or may not be home against the Wizards one more time. They got a game coming up on Wednesday, May 10th, 8 o'clock on TNT. If it's necessary and you want to go, make sure you log on to SeatGeek and enter the promo code CeltsNews. Again, the Wizards have to be focused solely on just stopping Isaiah and finding a way to do it. I mean, if they can't let Isaiah Thomas go off for 30 points a game, it's just not going to work. So
you think they trap harder?
They have to. They have to, have somebody guard him full. I mean, I don't know. Have somebody guard him full court. Meet him with a double team as soon as he crosses half court. Like you have to. You have to make him.
They can't do that. They can't do that.
I think that's the most impossible way. That's the most impossible way to stop the Celtics because guarding Isaiah Thomas is exhausting. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like
they can't do that. Isaiah can't even do that. John Wall can't afford to do that.
Right. His size isn't an advantage. So. What do? I think the biggest thing that the Wizards can do is try to figure out ways to stop everyone else, try to figure out ways to stop Avery Bradley, try to leave Marcus Smart open to make him take 10, 12 jump shots. I can't do anything more to Isaiah than I probably already have. He's just that good, that fast, that amazing. It's like, well, okay, he's going to get 30 or 35, 30, 25. He's going to score that many points. That's nothing I can do about that. And yes, the 50 was just extraordinary. But the problem is that you have a guy like Al Horford out there. You know what I'm saying? Who is just a threat offensively without scoring the basketball.
And that's why the trap's not going to work. That's why the trap's not going to work. Like they can't trap because of Al Horford. And I think that in particular was like the main reason why the Celtics got Al Horford. They saw Isaiah getting trapped in the Atlanta series and in the Cleveland series, and they think like, man, this guy needs someone to pitch the ball to, and it's Al Horford. So I don't think you can trap him. It's also more exhausting trapping. I don't think you can just leave, Isaiah on an island. I mean, they're going to run pick and roll. The Celtics are going to get switches with a big man guarding Isaiah. I don't think you could do that. One thing I've heard is that maybe just like go under on everything. Maybe that's the best way to stop Isaiah. He's a
make him shoot.
Point shooter. I don't know.
I don't think you want to make him shoot.
Okay, yeah. Maybe that's like a desperate strategy. Maybe I don't know if the Wizards are quite there yet. All right, you're right, Evan.
That's why I was.
But nothing else is
brought up. What do you do? Like just what? The only thing you can do.
The only thing you can do to slow Isaiah Thomas down is to do as much physical things as you can do to him as possible.
He's still too fast.
As much as you can get away with. I'm saying the cheap shots, the bumps, little stuff like that. To where eventually his body is like, hey, I'm still 5'9".
But the Wizards are too thin. The Wizards don't have enough depth to do that, and they're going to get called for fouls. Isaiah will get those calls. Yeah, there's nothing. I think it was go under and hope he has an off night, but that's an unlikely proposition. No, nothing. I got a question.
Go ahead.
Can Gortat play in the last 5 minutes? We heard Scott Brooks say he needs to get Bogdanovich more minutes. By the way, Bogdanovich had 19 minutes in Game 1, 8 minutes. 8 minutes in Game 2. Scott Brooks has said he's going to play him more. I wonder if the late game thing will be getting Gortat out of there and putting in Bogdanovich.
Again, that favors the Celtics. I think if you're going to go small, they can go smaller, and those guys are, much better in space on the.
That's an unguardable lineup. I mean, to me, when you put Bogdanovich out there, he's a great shooter. Porter Jr. is a great shooter.
Boston has guys to match up with those guys. The only guy you worry about is who's Isaiah on.
Man, they're going to get those. They're going to get open shots with that lineup, or they're going to get good enough looks with good enough shooters in that lineup. You just got to hope the Celtics will punish them on the other end. I mean, the Celtics might score on the other hand. They might score 240 in Washington then. They put Bogdanovich out there to close the games.
He's been awful defensively.
But Gortat's a huge liability defensively in late game situations.
Gortat was my own biggest concern because of the fact that he can get offensive rebounds. That's what I was a little bit concerned about because that's our weakness right there. And so with him not on the floor, to me, that makes it better. Washington, you got to hit shots and you got to out-execute the Celtics. And the Celtics have been the team that has out-executed everybody they've played against for the most part. So they're comfortable. And crunch time is their time. The Wizards, not so much. So
well, in the whole grand scheme of things, every time these two teams have played, the home team has won.
Grab one in Washington, and I'll feel comfortable.
Should be a fun one tonight. Celtics and Wizards tip-off, 8 o'clock in Washington on ESPN. Give us a follow on social media at CLNS Roundtable. go on iTunes, give us a review on iTunes, and make sure you stay tuned for more CLNS Roundtable podcasts coming at you all throughout the playoffs. Again, for Matthew Ignal and Zaire, I'm Evan Valenti. I'll see you next time.